Okay, Green Team, thank you for joining us. The floor is yours. Please continue.
Thank you. So, welcome to Amazon's Green Future. Let us meet the team now. Next slide.
GM Ragasa, and I will be talking about how the pandemic has influenced Amazon in terms of environmental impact as well as advisable measures.
Hi, I'm Extra Shop, and I will explain how Prime works, negatively against environment, and how this could be changed.
My name is Pascal Mayon, and I will speak about the problems with Amazon's packaging initiative and why it needs to be redeveloped with more sustainable practices.
Hi, I'm Caleb O'Shea, and I will be speaking about the unsustainable exploitation of Amazon employees and our plan of action. Next slide. So, our mission for sustainability. It is clear to us that Amazon has set itself the targets outlined on the slide. We see this as a good thing that it is acting to change. However, we feel as though there is room for more improvement. Amazon only reached 42% of renewable energy used in the company in 2019. While they have a target of 100% by 2025, we feel like that could be reached much sooner. You target only 50% of shipments to be carbon zero by 2030. Why isn't this a target of 100%? Next slide.
What does the pandemic mean to us in an economic sense? And how has it influenced our lives, as well as climate change? As we get on with our days, the new norm, if you will, the pandemic has affected many around the world. Since the beginning of the pandemic, COVID-19, we have overcome many challenges that can be both positive and negative. Many businesses and companies have experienced significant economic crisis throughout the pandemic, although this is not the case for all. In fact, if we look into the statistics of sales in Amazon using the UK as an example, online sales have increased drastically due to general restrictions and lockdowns, with sales 50% higher than given for February and more than 30% in May, before decreasing to more than 28% in July. Next slide. In terms of environmental impact within Amazon, with continuous deliveries causing an increase in carbon emissions and unsustainable packaging, it is true that the restrictions and lockdowns have helped improve the environment for a certain amount, although considering the rise of online orders and deliveries, the factors of Amazon sales activities hinder the process of improving the environment. If you take a look at this chart shown, you can identify the change and the reduction of carbon emissions in a span of 3 months in 2020, although with a slight fluctuation in hairline grease. Considering this change, it has made a fair impact on the environment within those months, although we shouldn't stop there and rely on the pandemic restrictions and lockdowns to contribute to the improvement of climate change. Next slide.
So Amazon has a massive workforce of over 800,000 people, which was heavily impacted by COVID. A 2018 survey conducted showed that 57% of the workforce is predicted to be replaced through automation by 2022. So this is an opportunity to replace individuals on temporary contracts and keeping the remaining workers to oversee the automated jobs. So to support the workers, individuals kept by Amazon should be treated equally if they are in a similar role. Furthermore, they should be offered flexible hours and remote working. This will create job security at Amazon, which is beneficial to both employer and employees. Lastly, to upskill and retrain all employees. 80% of CEOs surveyed about automation stated that they would be willing to retrain and invest in their employees. We are urging you to be one of the leading companies in that 80%. Make Amazon a company that people will be proud to work for. Next slide.
Like I said at the beginning, I was talking about what I call the Prime problem. Now, as a consumer, Amazon Prime is an amazing service. Who wouldn't want cheap and fast delivery? Well, you'd be surprised. Actually, a lot of people, and animals at that matter. Amazon Prime happens to be the main cause of Amazon's carbon footprint. This is due to a few reasons. Firstly, online shopping isn't the issue, which is what you might expect originally. But in actuality, it only becomes an issue when fast delivery is chosen. As deliveries become rushed and on a strict deadline of 24 hours, there becomes a greater need of vehicles on the road at any given moment. Delivery vans don't have significant time to load up fully before they leave, so as a result, vans will start their journey only half full. While these vans are on the road, they burn more greenhouse gases, which has a negative effect on the environment. Not only do they cause more traffic, but also cause more idling at traffic lights. Now we're talking about the free return policy. By making it such an attractive and easy option for customers to choose, it can cause them to be less picky on what to return. As a result, people end up overusing the service, causing more unnecessary vehicles on the road. This may be a more difficult issue to solve, but it's certainly something to look into. The last issue I will discuss is related to packaging. There's no guarantee that for every order with multiple items within will be coming from the same storage factory. For example, if a customer has to order a pair of socks and a reading book, then one of these items could be out of stock in the original location. As Prime delivery won't wait until they are restocked, then it forces another van to collect them, collected from a secondary location. Now we have two vans for two items of the same order. With this, we have also two separate packaging going to the same customer for no reason. It is a complete waste of resources that can be easily fixed. Next slide.
I will be talking about the problem with Amazon's packaging. So Amazon has come under fire recently as a new report has emerged from the non-profit ocean advocacy organization Oceana. The report estimates that Amazon was responsible for £465 million of plastic packaging waste in 2019. Amazon has disputed the report, claiming that it only uses a quarter of Oceana's estimate. But if this is the case, this still means that Amazon used more than £116 million of plastic packaging in 2019. Oceana still stands with their original estimated figures. A spokesperson from Oceana has said, even the low numbers claimed by the company for its plastic packaging footprint is enough to circle the Earth over 100 times in the form of air pillows and to cause very large problems for the oceans. Next slide. So here I've analysed Amazon's current initiative for sustainable packaging. So under Amazon's current improved packaging initiative, they have increased their utilization of biodegradable materials, frustration-free packaging, and have made strides to reduce unnecessary volume of packaging. The frustration-free packaging program allows customers to opt for the reduction of unnecessary extra packaging with their purchase. Although Amazon are working to be more sustainable, there are still many weaknesses in this area that need to be addressed, including the excessive use of plastic in the packaging and their large contribution to pollution. As for the improved recyclable packaging, it is only effective if the customers correctly recycle the packaging. This means in areas without developed recycling infrastructure, or if people are uneducated on how to recycle correctly, this packaging still goes to landfill. Amazon have an item-by-item packaging model, which means that sometimes when customers order multiple of the same product, it will come in separate packaging. This is not always the case and is changing, but it can still be a massive issue for wastage. That's what this picture is. It's someone ordered 5 of the same can and they all arrived in separate packages. The biodegradable packaging still takes a long time to break down and is not as developed as choices of Amazon's competitors, for example, the type that Walmart uses. Potential opportunities to improve in this department include the funding and implementation of educational programs, which would bring awareness to the importance of recycling and advise the customers on the environmentally friendly ways to purchase online. Another opportunity to improve is the funding of the research and development of eco-friendly packaging. In the future, we will hopefully have a multitude of biodegradable packaging options that have minimal impact on the environment. Next slide.
So our workforce plan. So the current situation, as Amazon proudly tells its investors, we utilize independent contractors and temporary personnel to supplement our workforce. So these temporary agencies deliver the supply of seasonal workers at lower costs with reduced benefits, so they don't receive any holiday pay or sick pay, and they have lower exit costs. So then there are the pay differentials. Why are the temporary contracted workers in the UK paid less than the permanent contracted workers? This pay disparity is highlighted by the equality of the same roles in the US, where all roles are paid the same. Amazon also has an incredibly unrealistic delivery schedule. Their delivery drivers have to target a package every 2 minutes and 24 seconds all day. Now, what we propose for the changes. Amazon needs to offer no more temporary contracts, flexible hours and telework policies, decrease the pay for a reduced workload. So we're not saying to decrease the pay and keep it the same, that would be worse exploitation, but $15 an hour for less work is fair enough. And lastly, to automate most of the routine tasks done at Amazon, which will increase the demand for human workers to do the other tasks around them that have not been automated. Next slide. So this is our 2-year automation action plan. So our presentation to you today in December 2020. We want you to begin research and development in January 2021, and then the start of retraining of employees comes in May of 2021. The big switch is then implemented in June, converting to automated tasks in warehouses. And then we want the employees to have their say by October. Any feedback that they may have had, we will then implement that by January of 2022, when we expect 57% of the workforce tasks to be replaced through automation. And then through June 2022, we want the delivery services to be automated where possible and drivers to be retrained. Again in October, we'll take their feedback on board, and by the end of 2022, we expect Amazon's workforce to be of a higher skill level and higher job satisfaction due to a reduced sustainable workload. Next slide.
So starting with our solution to traffic and idling comes traffic light Wi-Fi. This is a system already in America where the traffic lights give live updates to van and truck drivers. They will advise the drivers whether to try catch the lights before they change or to relax coming up to them. By doing this, this will save unnecessary time and judgment on the road, in turn reducing 15 to 20% of greenhouse gases. Next slide. The next solution to vehicle issues is switching to electric. Amazon use their own vehicles for 26% of all online orders. That includes 20,000 vans, 300 semi-trucks, and 50 airplanes. By increasing the percentage, you can then have more control over what vehicles you use and how. I understand it won't be possible everywhere in the world, but changing as many vehicles to electric as soon as possible would make a massive difference. We can make sure we have enough of an infrastructure to deal with these vehicles before we make a guaranteed switch. Next slide. Lastly, we believe that you should offer a green delivery option for those more conscious customers. It should be offered as a free option as well to help entice more customers. We understand that by 2023, the positive publicity will have earned you back your investment and will start turning profits from this time onward. While this delivery may take longer than the rest, it will also be going through every step of the journey as eco-friendly as possible. And to reward the customer, we should include a small note which outlines the positive effect the decision has made on the environment. It adds a good feel factor for the customer and yourself. Next slide.
What can Amazon do to help environmental impact? While you can take actions with measures and make use of the company's high-value assets to come into terms with innovative solutions. Rather than sticking to one set goal, which is to eliminate carbon emissions to zero by 2040, you can take strategic steps to decrease the use of fossil fuels within the company. As Amazon continues to grow, acquiring more delivery vans, planes, and computer servers, emissions are only increasing by making it difficult to ease environmental impact. Steps you can follow to ease environmental impact include climate impact screening, prioritization and development plan, and implement, and evaluate, and review. Next slide.
The targets we propose are Automation that will lead to a decreased workload for human employees and a workforce of higher skill. 25% of the vehicles replaced by electric alternatives by 2023. Traffic light Wi-Fi to be installed on all road vehicles by 2022. Have a green delivery option available for all customers. Minimize the damage the current packaging system is inflicting on the environment, particularly the damage to the oceans. In conclusion, we recognize the efforts Amazon has already made to progress in a sustainable way. We still believe that much more needs to be done, and today we of the Green Team have encouraged ways for Amazon to move in a fully sustainable, flexible direction. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Well done, Green Team. Another really excellent presentation. I think one of the things I have to say, and it goes for both teams, is that you've both demonstrated a really serious amount of research. You really put a lot of work into researching the topics and presenting very well. So in relation to this presentation, I must say I'm particularly impressed with the timeline that you've presented, and the set of recommendations that you're making are really clearly thought out and very rationally presented. So very well done on that. We have an observation from Mook, who suggests that just before the pandemic, UK supermarkets were starting to cut back on their single-use plastics. Asda and Tesco had started grocery deliveries with no single-use bags. However, the pandemic forced a level of hygiene that required no contact deliveries and a huge increase in single-use plastic bags, more than any other time in the UK supermarket history. That's a really interesting point, Mook, that you're making, just on the impact between the pandemic and how that has affected some other aspects of environmental protection, I guess. The other thing I wanted to mention about both teams is how well you all presented yourselves. I'm delighted to see that you all dressed up. Do you want to share with us your feelings about how difficult or easy you found it to put together a presentation in a virtual context like this?
Yeah, I'll go first. I guess the main setback was kind of just getting everyone at the same time. Doing the research and communicating, I thought we did quite well. I guess we were lucky in that sense that we just got along well naturally. But yeah, the main issue was just getting a phone call done at the same time where we're all available and ready to do it. But apart from that, I was pretty happy with how we could get what we did sorted in the time frame we did. So.
And in terms of presenting here in Second Life, how did you guys find that?
Being able to display the slides was definitely a challenge, as you could see before the class. But Caleb had the idea of sending in the link, which helped a lot. It took away a lot of the stress as well, so that helped. In terms of speaking, we had a few practices. Go ahead.
I was getting quite anxious that our presentation was going to completely be a failure there. I wasn't quite sure how we were going to pull it off, but once I saw Ian stick in the link to his YouTube video, I figured there might be a way of sharing the presentation like that, or if I could quickly make a YouTube video, which I didn't have to do.
Very good. Well, Val Librarian is very impressed that you've worked so well in Second Life and put together such great presentations in a virtual context. Gentle Heron has a question. How does the greenness of production of electric vehicles, especially their batteries, compare to that of the production of gasoline vehicles?
Great question. More so, it's kind of a give and take. It's kind of advertised slightly wrong, because making of the cars does actually burn a lot of greenhouse gases too that people don't realize. But once they are up and running, overall usage of the car, the day-to-day, saves a lot of greenhouse gases to be emitted, petrol used, stuff like that. So day-to-day, once you buy the car, it's a lot greener in that sense. But overall, making the car does have a negative impact too. It isn't spoken about too much. Hopefully, with time, that will be improved.
Yes, Gentle's agreeing. She says that the production footprint is different from the usage footprint. Val has a question. Do you feel that Second Life gives you a way to have the sense of being together as you work as a team and share your presentation?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Like before the class, we went out and like had a team morale meeting. So like I think being on Second Life was really good for that.
How does it compare with some of the other online classes you've had in terms of, I don't mean to just compare them, but I mean in terms of immersiveness or in terms of ease of communication? Is it easier, just different, or?
Different in my opinion. Just quickly just gonna say that usually like on Zoom and stuff, you're looking at one part of the screen, which is the person's talking. Where this gives you the option to kind of look around the room. Like I'm looking at a chair one moment, oh there's a picture in the background. You really feel more in the situation than just staring at someone's face who's talking.
Also, when you're on a like Zoom call or whatever with your class, it's usually on Bongo, which means you can only see the lecturer. Like you can rarely see multiple other people, so it just feels like it's one-to-one, and it's a bit less personal, ironically.
Interesting. Great. Well, look, again, thank you very much indeed, Green Team. Let's take your seats again and we'll have a final close off.
Thank you very much.